Well, good morning, everyone. I just feel a little strange this morning. Virginia, good morning. Welcome to the Today Show.
Good
I'm Dr.
morning.
Laurie Davis, your host, and my co-host, Virginia Clark. And it's been about 3 weeks since we've done a Motivational Monday, Virginia. And we'll talk a little bit about why that's been. Not too long on that, but how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
And I'm so grateful.
Me too. Yes,
Yeah, for sure.
absolutely.
So yes, I had a little bit of a hiatus. Had emergency bowel surgery and recovered nicely. Feeling really great. I was pretty sick, but anyway, I'm here and feeling like myself again, and even better than myself. So I'm like a whole new person. I've been completely detoxed.
Absolutely.
Woo! Yikes!
Yeah.
A complete cleanse. I don't need to do a detox program for a while.
No, you're good. You're set.
There's nothing in there to detox right now. So how have you been, Virginia? Let's catch up with our viewers on our, how we're doing physically,
I'm
emotionally.
doing well. I see the radiologist this week to find out if I get cleared to go back to work or not. So that is my next step. I'm still doing my treatments, Herceptin treatments. I'll have those right up until the new year, just to make sure that, I keep kicking this cancer's butt. So other than that,
Right.
I'm not just getting ready for winter. You know where we are.
Yes.
We're
Well,
getting
we
ready.
had a little teensy bit of snow last night on the vehicles.
Okay.
So it's
Nothing.
around the corner. It can come
Mhm.
anytime here in the great Northwest.
That's
But
right.
really, to be perfectly honest, and when people say that to me, sometimes I think, well, are you lying to me the rest of the time? No, I mean, I'm so happy to be living in the great Northwest part
Yeah.
of this country. Landlocked, no tsunamis, no hurricanes. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Poor Florida. Hey, got hit really hard.
Crazy.
I know.
Mm.
I know. So today we're going to talk about gratitude. And we've talked about gratitude before, Virginia, but today it has a whole new meaning for you and for me because of our recent health challenges and recovery. So let's talk about that, why we're so grateful for exactly what happened to us and
Mhm.
the gratitude that we're experiencing right now. So just in a thumbnail sketch of your journey with cancer in the last year, and over to you. What happened?
Yeah, diagnosed just before Christmas last year. So we're getting close to a year of dealing with this nonsense. I call it nonsense. But I do. I found out through this all I'm not the most patient patient. So that must be the lesson I need to learn from all this is more patience. But yeah, just grateful that, to have the support of family and friends along the way. Grateful for my husband and my son, who watched me every day and made sure I was, at my appointments on time and thriving the best you can when you I've gone through chemo. And my surgery was in the summer. So same with you, like you, Laurie, I've healed beautifully. Just some little twinges here and there. I know when I overdo it, but yeah, just grateful to, wake up every day and see the sunrise and see the sunset and spend time with my family. So yeah, very, very blessed.
Right. And we're going to talk about that, how gratitude affects our priorities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So for me, I've just come through emergency intestinal surgery, actually, and that completely blocked my whole digestive system and my bowel movements, everything. But my small intestine had over the years attached itself to old scar tissue from an operation I had when I was 5. I had
Wow.
my appendix out. And that was going on for a long time, the doctor told me, just a little bit more each year, a little more. And eventually that small intestine completely blocked itself off from my stomach. And so I was 10 days in the hospital. So I knew I was pretty sick because, they don't keep you now unless they absolutely have to.
Yes.
And that was my indicator of how sick I actually was. I was in a little bit of denial. And sick. I mean, I had just finished bragging about that. So now that taught me not to brag about that. So, yes, it's been a real challenge and recovery. I've been recovering for 2 weeks. I have 4 more to go. I'm not allowed to lift anything heavy, but as far as how I'm feeling and my incisions and all that, that's all doing great.
Mhm.
So then that inspired me because, of course, we've talked about gratitude before, but let's talk about it again. Because one of the things that I discovered, I don't know about you, but when you come through something like that, all of a sudden the world looks completely different. And
Yeah.
our priorities change and shift.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
just for an example, I have not knit anything in probably 10 years. And I got my husband to go up in the closet and dig out my knitting bin. I have a bin full of yarn and all different kinds of needles. And I said, I'm going to start knitting again when we're
Yeah.
watching a movie. I've knit 3 things so far. Um, my food tasted totally different. And I think that has to do with the anesthetic in your system. It takes a while for that to come out. And, it just changed my whole relationship with food and beverage and drinking a lot more water.
Mhm.
Just, and I'm sort of, I don't know if you've had this experience. Everything is much more sensitized, like color, the air, um, people, when I see people. I don't know. It's just a higher level, I think, of vibration or something that's gone on. What about you?
Yeah, that makes total sense. You, when you're faced with those diagnoses that, potentially could be life-changing in that instance, life or death changing, because it was that way. Could have been for both of us.
Mhm.
And yeah, you definitely see things differently. It's almost like your eyes are just have been opened a little wider. Maybe some things that you thought were important aren't
Mm,
anymore, right?
yes.
And some things that, maybe you've been neglecting, which, we talked about on the one with, when you neglect your body or neglect these things, that's when your body tells you, hey, things are happening. We need to take care of
Mhm,
it.
mhm,
Yeah. So yeah, just opening your eyes and yeah, just realizing what is important and what isn't important as before you got
I know.
diagnosed or yeah.
I know what I used to, and that's the other thing, the bliss that came with this was completely not stressing about anything.
Mhm.
Finances, people, dysfunctional people, people who want to hurt us. All of a sudden, that all went away. And I went, wow,
Yeah.
I don't have to give that any more energy.
No.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
It's not important.
No,
No.
no.
No, it isn't. So,
So
yeah.
today we're going to talk about how our ability, you and I, because we've already learned this a long time ago,
Yeah.
uh, being grateful. And, a lot of people don't understand the power of gratitude because they may look at their lives and go, well, what have I got to be grateful for? What have I, what, like, my life sucks. I don't have any money. I'm sick. My kids don't talk to me. I mean, we could come up with 100 reasons not to be grateful.
Absolutely.
Right. And I always share this with my clients. There are 3 keys to happiness. I'm not going to share the other 2. You have to come and talk to me first. But but the second key to being happy and to feeling happy is gratitude.
Mm.
Gratitude. Now, a few years back, and you might know about this, but a few years back, I was involved in a project called the Gratitude Experiment. And you see, it says ignite the spark that changes everything. And to be in the film, and here I am here, I hardly recognize myself, but there's some really incredible people in here.
Mhm.
One of them is a friend of mine in the States. Her name is Lisa Ryan. I'm going to have her on the show because she built a business around gratitude. She speaks to corporations and organizations about she called it Gratitude.
Oh.
And so she was in the film, but we had to answer 50 questions on gratitude.
Yeah.
That was the screening process to be in the movie. So I already knew a lot about it, but had I actually implemented it, probably not like I should have,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the different kinds of gratitude. So
Mhm.
what do you know about gratitude, Virginia?
I was just
What
thinking,
have you learned about gratitude and being
yeah,
grateful?
when you were going through, when I was facing chemo, it was really hard to be grateful when you felt like a bag of poo, but
Mhm.
I had to keep thinking in my mind that, mm, you know, I had to be healthy. I had to be healthy. So, working, not fighting the chemo, resting when I needed to rest, letting it do its thing. It is very difficult. It's hard on a body. It's hard mentally, physically, emotionally. But just to be grateful that, even one that, what, my benefits covered my chemo treatments, right? Or my,
Wow.
what I needed to go along with the chemo treatments. So just be grateful for little things like that. Grateful that, what, if I needed to spend the day on the couch, my husband and my son, took care of everything and made sure that I was taken care of. So it's, even though you're going through a hard time or a hard process, absolutely, there's always something to be grateful for. I woke up in the morning. That's something to be grateful for. You know,
Mhm.
I had a bed to sleep in, right? A roof over my head. So there's always, irregardless of what's going on in the background, there's always something going on. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. There's something. We're always dealing with some sort of situation, but you need to find those spots of gratitude, even start, what are 3 things I can be grateful for today? Something simple like that. Wake up in the morning and right away think of 3 things you can be grateful for today. And it's an amazing way, one, just to start your day off.
Mhm.
How many of us, oh, Monday, ugh, this is amazing way, motivational Monday, right? I'm grateful that I can sit here and have this conversation with you on the show because I saw you in the hospital. I'm grateful that you're here.
Yes, you did, and I didn't see you on either occasion, come to
No,
think of it.
but
Not
it but
very.
it's, just little things like that, just being grateful that, you're thriving. And was I worried that you wouldn't? No, I was never worried, but it's just being grateful for the people in your life is, a beautiful thing, a beautiful way to start your day. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't my finest hour.
I'll
Uh,
agree. Yeah.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
not my finest hour, but
Mm.
anyway, yes, and, as sick as I was grateful. Like yesterday, I spent some time writing some thank you cards to all the nurses. I
Oh,
took down all their names, the
perfect.
people who really, really took care of me,
Mhm.
and I have cards to send to them.
Aw,
And,
love that.
just thinking, "Okay, I'm really sick. I'm really sick."
Mhm.
But here are the people who are trained to take care of these tubes. I had tubes down and 3 intravenous's,
Mhm.
and they knew what they were doing. And even though sometimes we find fault with our systems, we'll say, "Oh, that healthcare system, I had to wait
Yeah,
5 hours." And well, there are very good people within the systems taking
absolutely.
care of us. And those nurses, I was in a special unit, Unit 23, and everybody in that unit would be on some kind of tube. That was their
Mhm.
specialty, that was their area. So if I was a cancer patient and I couldn't eat, and they're feeding me through a tube, I had tubes taking stuff out of me and putting stuff in me at the same time so I wouldn't
Mhm.
dehydrate or starve to death because I
Absolutely.
didn't have any solid food or water for 10 days. I couldn't swallow, my throat was that tube down there. So being grateful got me through too.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, these women are amazing at what
Mhm.
they do and dedicated and checking in on me. And Yeah, I was so grateful to be in the hospital in the first place
Mm-hmm.
and to have a hospital to go to,
Go to. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And my family and my friends and people that, helped to take care of Ron and support him and, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
lots to be grateful for.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
every time I go into the cancer center to get my treatments, yeah, the ladies there, I just, you're in awe because a lot of time they do see people at their worst and they
Mhm.
have to keep it together and, keep their emotions aside and do what they have to do. And just, yeah, absolutely. Just, yeah,
Mhm.
be grateful. And yeah, like you said, yeah, sometimes our system, we feel like it's broken, but the men and women inside that system are doing the best that they can with what they have. And, that we have to be grateful for them as well. Yeah, that's a beautiful thought. Yeah.
Mhm. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy says, glad you went to the hospital. Well, I didn't have any choice. I was coughing up my guts.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a choice.
Yes.
But I didn't stay home and try and fix it myself
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's what we do when we're in denial. I knew something was very wrong and I needed to get some help. I couldn't take care of that.
Yeah.
So coming out of denial about some things too. And that's all part of that process
Absolutely.
of
Mm-hmm.
gratitude because
Mm-hmm.
when you're grateful, you're coming out of denial
Yeah.
about things,
Yeah.
right? Yes. So there's two types of gratitude. There's what we
Mm-hmm.
call elementary gratitude. So that's gratitude, I'm grateful for my home, I'm grateful for my money in the bank, I'm grateful to have a vehicle, all that physical outside of ourself kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's easy to be grateful for because it's physical. You can see it, you can touch it, you can taste it.
Yeah.
And that's how to start though, is to start with the simple gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
We call it elementary gratitude.
Yeah.
But the more complex gratitude is Virginia and I sitting here telling you that she has had cancer and I had bowel problems. And we're grateful for that hard journey
Mm-hmm.
because a year ago, who you are now compared
Yeah.
to who you were a year ago,
Yeah.
totally different woman.
Yeah.
And I'm different. I've changed. I have some new attitudes that I'm going to be exercising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's called secondary gratitude, being grateful for the hard times. And trust me, that is not easy.
No. No, it isn't. And if we look at our hard times as, there's always something to be gained from it, something to be learned. A lesson, like I said, I'm pretty sure mine is about being patient. But I mean, it's, when you can look at it and when we talk about our eyes being opened, that it does. I mean, your eyes open to a different way to express that gratitude, because you've been places and even with all the work we've done, our mind will still go to that dark place for a little bit, until we can pull it back out of there and say, no, that doesn't help. So, when you're sitting there and you got nothing but time to think about everything and to, because you're right, during, for me, during chemo, it knocks you're literally sitting there just a bag of bones some days. And, after surgery, like you said, you can't lift, you can't do this, you can't do that. So you sit there, you have a lot of time to think. And, it's easy to think about all the negative things, but when you're able to get up, get moving, you can express that gratitude. There's no excuse not to. There's no excuse not to express that gratitude. Irregardless if it's cancer, bowel surgery, whatever the situation you're going through, find the gratitude, find the, we also like to call them glimmers in your day instead of those negative things. Thank you, Lisa, for that. Our
Mhm.
glimmers, find something beautiful in your day. For me, getting up and being able to go outside when I was, having my chemo treatments, I may have had to been covered from head to toe just to be safe, but just to sit there and my animals they knew something was going on. So they connect with you, and something simple like that, just little things, just to be able to be outside and look at the sun and look at the beauty. I have a beautiful yard. So instead of sitting in the house and moping and which I absolutely could have, I could, still be doing that today.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. No, to get up and get moving and to see the good, those beautiful glimmers, and be thankful, be grateful for everything that I have in my life, the people I have in my life, the lessons I'm learning. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting how things come into your life. So I have this beautiful journal.
Hmm.
See, she believed she could, so she did.
Yeah.
And this was a birthday gift from our beautiful Jill Young husband.
Yeah.
And I have not used it for anything yet. I
Okay.
was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? And then this was before I had my situation, where
Hmm.
I nearly died.
Yeah.
That was a near death experience,
It
by the way.
was. Hmm.
And I thought, well, now I've always had a gratitude journal. So this will be my new gratitude journal. Thank you, Jill.
Perfect.
Uh, because my level of gratitude has also increased because
Hmm.
of this situation. So that says something to me about our vibrational level. The more clear we become,
Hmm.
the greater the opportunities, the greater the insight, the greater your ability to love, to forgive. All of those things are impacted. So what what Virginia and I are going to do in the next few minutes,
Hmm.
we are going to look at all of the areas of our balance wheel. And if you're not familiar
Hmm.
with that, we can help you with that.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about why it's important. And we just discussed health and wellness.
Hmm.
So I'm going to put you front and center on stage, Virginia.
Okay.
I have to excuse myself for a few minutes.
Hmm.
And which one of the balance wheel sections would you like to talk about, where we need to be grateful and how that would change that for us?
I'm going to choose family.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. You go, girl.
Hmm.
Whoops.
Absolutely. Oh.
Whoopsie. Whoopsie. Okay.
So I'm choosing family in our balance wheel. So we have a beautiful balance wheel that we use in our programs, and it's called Balance in My Lifestyle. And it has 8 different sections and 8 different topics. So family for me through this all it's just been an amazing support. I have the most amazing family, near and far. And that's the beautiful thing, when you're thinking of gratitude, especially when you're going through a situation. Um, Lean on these people. They love you, they're there for you, they support you. Lean on them. That's what our family is. I used to be the kind of person that, no, I'm good, I don't need help, I don't need help. But I understand now the giving and receiving has to be in balance as well. So when my family offered to do something for me, to help in some way, um, I said yes, yes, please, because it's not only about me. When you're going through a situation, like Laurie had mentioned, her husband Ron, my husband and my son, everybody's going through this situation with you. They may not be, having the treatments or, having the surgeries, but they're there with you, looking at you, watching you, making sure that you are, staying healthy, staying strong, because sometimes, you just don't want to be strong. And the beautiful thing about family is that they're there to help you when you can't be strong. And so to be grateful for that, just 100% gratitude for my husband and my son, going through this, they were there to support me every step of the way. So family on our balance wheel, absolutely 100% gratitude for everything that they are going through as well alongside my journey. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I'll choose career and professional life. Um, I I'm still working. I'm 75. I have no intention of retiring. And I'm grateful for the fact that 40 years ago, I retired from my teaching career to do my own thing, to become an entrepreneur. And I've done a variety of businesses, but this particular business that I'm in now, we've been in business for 32 years. So I'm so grateful that I got sick and my business continued because I have people out there working the business, even no matter I was sick or not, that I didn't have to get permission to leave my job for a few days or a year like Virginia's had to do. Um, I'm sick. I can just take my time. And I contacted the Disability Channel and I talked to Jay and I said, I'm not going to be able to be on the air for about 3 weeks because I need to recover. I need to recoup. So I love having a career. I was looking at my this morning. My studio's downstairs. I live upstairs, and I was walking down the stairs, and I thought, wow, I have a really terrific commute. It takes me like 3 seconds to get from upstairs to downstairs, and I don't have to drive anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere in the bad weather. This is my workplace where I am right now. So I had a lot of things around my career to be grateful for while I wasn't, you know, in my full tilt. And I even had a friend. Uh, she texted me and she said, um, "Anything, absolutely anything you need, you let me know." And I just jokingly went, "Send cash," and I didn't mean it. It was like a joke. And the next thing I know, $500 landed in my bank account. What? And then I said, no, no, I didn't mean that. I'm okay. And she said, no, you need that? Go for it. So gratitude all around. I mean, who does that? Well, that's somebody that really cares about you a lot, right? And it's just amazing the kind of, my sister was there for me and my friends in Red Deer. That's where I was in the hospital. So just my career, just feeling really grateful to have such a beautiful opportunity to do what I do to earn a living. So that's my gratitude today for career,
Yeah,
Virginia.
perfect. I love it. Yeah.
What are you going to choose next?
I am going to choose, I think, relationships
Okay.
to go alongside with family, because I had a lot of friends as well stand up and, help with fundraising, stuff like that, over these, past almost 9 months. So those relationships, to me, even our self-worth family, it kept me on that positive side instead of continually going to the negative side, because irregardless of what I was going through, I still had something to offer. I still had something to give. And my relationships with my friends and my self-worth family, you guys really, still opened me, or, open arms, welcome, no judgment. I mean, I was bald. I'd come in, like I say, chemo, sometimes you look like death warmed over. Nobody ever said anything negative about it. And I just felt so loved and so cared for in those relationships. And still, after, just people checking in, how are you doing? How are things going? Stuff like that. It's relationships are so important. And not only friends and family, we talk about in my situation. I have, oncologists, I have the nurses, I have, my surgeon. So those relationships as well, to be grateful for, those people in your life that are helping you through that situation. Like you said, Laurie, about sending thank you cards to the nurses. I love that idea. It's beautiful. Um, but all those relationships and just staying positive with them, it's not being worried to ask questions and feeling comfortable, especially when you're going through a situation, and you have to advocate for yourself. If something doesn't feel right, you need to ask questions. So those relationships as well are, important as well. So for me, throughout my situation, I've been really blessed with such beautiful relationships, beautiful friends, beautiful family. So I'm very grateful for everyone who stepped up to help me through. My oncologist, my surgeon, he did an amazing job. Like the scar is minimal. It was fantastic. So I'm blessed that way too with relationships, and being grateful that, what, irregardless, yeah, I'm gonna have a scar for life. I got ideas around that anyways. I'm good. So those relationships, to me, very grateful that I have someone on my side looking out for me. And if I have questions, I can, ask any questions. My self-worth relationships, you guys kept me in your thoughts and in your prayers, throughout this whole thing. And still I came to meetings when I could, and gave my all for what I had left. So yeah, relationships, that balance, again, giving and receiving, being able to still be a giver and still receive, to me, is so important. So
Mhm.
having those relationships as well that balance that out for me was is I'm very grateful for that. So
Mhm.
that's our relationships.
That's right.
Mhm.
Well, Simon makes a comment here. Healthcare is broken in Canada. So sad. And yes, it
Mm,
is. But what I realized, Simon, and maybe you didn't see this at the beginning of the show, even though our systems are broken, there's no doubt, there are excellent people working inside the system.
inside. Mhm.
And that's what saved my life. And
Yeah,
that's probably what saved your life
yeah,
because we got the right people
yes,
who were in there when we needed them, right?
absolutely. Mhm.
And, and also, too, Simon is right about this. There is hope in taking charge of my own health. Well, that's one of the things the surgeon told me was if I had not been in such good health, I never would have survived this thing.
Yeah.
And he said, you must take really good care of yourself. And I said, yes, I do. And I have for years, making
Mhm.
sure I eat properly, get my rest, taking responsibility
Yeah.
for my health. We even have 40 workshops called Responsible Wellness,
Yeah.
how to take responsibility for your health.
Yes.
And that plays a big part, I think, in your health and in mine,
Yeah.
because I know you take good care of yourself too.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see.
Absolutely.
What
Mhm.
well, I'm grateful for my smarts to take care of myself. So let's do education and learning
Mhm.
since we're
Good one.
talking about that.
Mhm.
Always be open to learning new information.
Mhm.
And I put a quote on Facebook yesterday. If we want a different kind of life, if we want a healthier life, if we want a partner, if we want to travel, whatever it is,
Mhm.
we need to new information. You can't keep making the same old decisions based on the same old information because you're not going to move forward.
Yeah.
So I'm all about education. That's my background. That's my professional background, education and learning. And I'm always open to learning new things. I even, when I was in the hospital, asked my sister to bring me a journal so I could write down things that I didn't understand. And then when the nurse wasn't quite so busy, I could ask her,
Mhm.
what does that mean? What does that drug mean?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because I was like being in a foreign country. When you're not involved in the medical system, you don't know the language,
Yeah.
just like computers, they have their own language. Artists have their own language. So always being open and grateful for every single opportunity you get to learn something new.
Yeah.
That keeps your brain alive. And I'm always looking for opportunity. What could I learn if I watch that podcast? What could I learn if I read that book? What could I learn if I sit down and have coffee with Virginia Clark? Lots, right? So we're
Yeah.
in a world where information is a tap away.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I did, I don't know about you, Virginia, because I know when you were sick, you did a lot of research too. But I
Yep.
started looking at best foods to have after bowel surgery,
Yeah.
best foods to eat, how to eat them, when to eat them, so that that has an opportunity to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I learned a lot of things. I've almost completely changed my diet altogether because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Before, I thought my diet was great. I don't think so.
But you learned. You
There'd
learned.
be no more fast food going in here. I didn't
Mhm.
care for fast food anyway. It was a treat. But, when I think about it now and how hard our bodies have to work to get well,
Yeah.
wow, right? So, education and learning. If you're not doing any kind of personal work on yourself, you're missing the boat. Really?
Yeah.
Right, Virginia?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You think
Absolutely.
you've arrived and you're
Mhm.
okay and there's nothing wrong with you. There isn't anything wrong with you,
No.
but we can learn how to become more effective
Mm-hmm.
when we
Oh
do
yeah.
our personal work. And that's the business we're in. One for us, right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Because there's no arrival time. There's
No.
no, you take a workshop and you go, oh, I'm good. No,
No.
I'm the biggest study and the best study I have ever studied.
Yeah. And
So,
you're always learning something, even something about yourself, something about, never thinking that, oh, I couldn't go through that. I couldn't do that. But when you're faced with it and you don't have a choice, hey, guess what? You went through it,
that's
right?
right.
So, just even being grateful for yourself, being grateful for that strength and that, perseverance and for me, I'm stubborn. I'm sorry. I'm going to call it what it is. I'm stubborn. My thought process, well, this is an inconvenience, but I'll get through it because that's who I am. I persevere. But yeah, that education, that learning, you're going to learn something about yourself when you go through difficult situations as well. And that's the beauty of, being grateful. When we talk about it, we can be grateful that we're in that situation, or we can be negative about it. But you're going
Mhm.
to get through that situation a lot quicker, a lot healthier if you're grateful instead of that negativity, because that negativity is just going to keep dragging you down. And when you're already faced with a challenge, you need that positivity and that gratitude to help get through it and, reach the other side a better person, a healthier
Mhm.
person.
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's no arrival time. You don't,
No.
like I said, you don't go, okay, I did that. Now I've arrived.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And I think even more important for us in the work that we do is helping people to become emotionally stable
Yes.
because we live through the veil of trauma. We've all had trauma.
Mhm.
And so a lot of our decisions are made through that filter. And so we continue to make poor decisions.
Yeah.
And Warren Buffett, I've been reminded by our friend, Dr. Amin, Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors and richest investors of all time, says, the best investment you will ever make is when you invest in yourself.
Mhm.
Not a blue chip, not a mutual fund, not an RRSP.
Yeah.
You invest in this
Yeah.
because the more enlightened you become, the more educated you become, the more effective you become.
Mhm.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hmm. What's
Mhm.
next?
I'm going to talk about fun and social.
Okay.
Fun and social. For me, fun and social, with the situation I went through, when I could go out, there were a couple weeks during chemo where you just kind of have to lay low and heal. Your immune system takes a really big hit. But I always had, those friends, those relationships to say, hey, when are you, when can you go out for coffee? When can we do this? When can we do that? So I could, when I was good before my next treatment, I was out. I was seeing people, I was visiting, friends, family, whatever I could do, and just to be social, because we need to remember when we're going through everything, and we, again, we'll talk about those negative thoughts, but when you got people on your side saying, hey, come on, get out, let's move. Yeah, fun and social. I still got out and met with good friends, had coffee. Just for me at that point, with everything going on, just to go grocery shopping, I was pretty happy just to be able to do that and just get out of the house, get out of your head, get out of, that negative place that you might be, and just be grateful. Like I say, I was grateful for the fact I could go do grocery shopping. So it doesn't, when we talk about those things, anything, there's something in every day to be grateful for. Something
Mhm.
in every day, and it doesn't matter what you're going through. Something in every day to be grateful for. And yes, I'm fun and social was important to me when I could get out, do that, and see people, meet people, share my story. um, I also shared a lot on social media. My family is quite spread out. So I had a lot of people stop me and say, you inspire me. I'm reading your journey on Facebook or whatever. You inspire me. Thank you for sharing. So that to me, you know, just grateful for that. Grateful that my story was helping someone else. So that, fun and social, when we talk about that as well, using our social media, for good in a sense, or for, and not for attention. I didn't want attention, but I found that if I didn't post pretty consistently, I had a lot of family and friends. Hey, how's it going? Everything okay?
Yeah. Are you all
You know,
right?
right? Messaging. So, and also for me, the fun and social part, and learning, dealing with my situation. Sometimes we have survivor's guilt. And so I had to get through that and realize my situation is not like someone else's situation. And everybody deals with their situation, how they deal with it. This is how I have to deal with mine. So when I talk about the fun and social and being out, I didn't go out and, oh, and I've got cancer and no. I had so many compliments on my bald head. Thank you very much. And just leaving it at that. Not explaining the situation, not having to explain myself. And that's the beauty of, having those, when we talk about relationships and family and friends, is, that confidence to go out and be yourself and have fun. And nobody in my circle was like, oh, or maybe you should put a hat on or something, right? It was just that complete non-judgmental and that acceptance and that beauty and love. So I was so grateful for that with my, fun and social friends and getting out and, yeah, doing stuff like that. So yeah, for me, fun and social, another aspect to be grateful for.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like in the movie, The Gratitude Experiment. And if
Hmm.
anybody wants one, just let me know because I have them here.
Yeah.
Um, it's old technology now, DVDs, but that's how long ago it was. But I think if you Googled it, The Gratitude Experiment, you might see it streaming somewhere as well. So you could try
Hmm.
that.
Okay.
But in that, Mary Morrissey, who is also a coach and a speaker, she shared a story about a few years ago. There were these big wildfires in Montecito, California. It's where all those big mansions are on the hillside, and they all
Right.
burned. And the media was there, and there was a family standing outside of their house that had burnt to the ground. And the woman was crying, and how are you doing? Oh my God, it's terrible. We lost everything. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to us. Why did this happen to us? Blah, blah, blah. And then further down the street, another little family was out front and their house had been burnt to the ground. And the media person said, "So how are you guys doing?" "We're doing fantastic. We all got out alive.
Mm-hmm.
We even got our cat out. We are so grateful."
Yeah.
So there you have the same situation, two completely different attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to get past that crisis quicker than the other?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had when we're a beautiful story about that. I was chatting with one of these beautiful women that I know from one of the grocery stores in town, and I said, "Yeah, I'm just kind of getting a little bored, sitting at home waiting on doctors." Again, that's the patience. I know that's the lesson I need to learn in this. And she goes, "Well, do you have any hobbies?" And I said, "Yeah, like, I kind of do woodwork, but I said, I also, I'm a empowerment facilitator." And she's like, "Well, what's that?" So I'm explaining to her well, that explains your mindset through all this. So a woman that sees me, periodically during the month at the grocery store could see that mindset, that she's like, "Well, that's why your mindset is so amazing." Uh, so I mean, when we talk about that energy, it's there, and irregardless of what you're going through, if you have that mindset that we talk about, that energy is still going to be there. So people saw me just as me, maybe with no hair, maybe didn't understand but when they saw me, they didn't, unless they followed me on Facebook, had no idea what I was going through, because I was still the same person that I was before it happened. I still, had that same smile, that same mentality going out, and, not, "Whoa, it was me." Um, and I so grateful for that strength and that ability to stay in that mindset as I'm
Mhm.
going through everything, because it really, people see that and they feel that, and they know that you're okay.
And that's why they would refer to you as an inspiration. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the finance wedge because we do have a
Mm.
wedge there in finances, and
Yes.
money is a very emotionally charged subject. And it's one of the subjects, sex and money, the two things that people do not want to talk about. But we do, because every Tuesday, Dr. Ramin and I do a show on finance. And we're going to change the
Mhm.
content just a little bit tomorrow. But I'm one of those people. I've had lots of money in my day, and there are times when I have no money and everything in between. I'm just one of those people.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that I learned was, especially in those lean times when I was really building the business and struggling to pay my bills and all that kind of stuff, was I asked myself the question, do I have everything I need for today? Do
Mm.
I have milk in the fridge? Do I have gas, a little gas in my car? Do I have everything I need just for today?
Mhm.
Because people get all caught up in worrying about money 5 years before you even need to, or a week before you need to, because the money will land just as you need it when you need it.
Mhm.
And I learned that a very long time ago. So if I don't have any money, I'm not stressing because I know there's more coming. And I
Mhm.
never know where it's going to come from. This is what's very interesting about my line of work.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
might take 3 calls today and people want a workshop. Oh, people I don't even know. Oh, but when you're in a business and you're consistent, the money, and you always have something to sell to others, you always have
Mhm.
money. So I never worry about that. And I'm grateful for every single penny that has ever come into my hands to manage.
Mhm.
Because when you take care of the small stuff, the big stuff will take care of itself. So be grateful. Whatever your financial situation is right now, be grateful for that. And do
Mhm.
you know when I became the most creative, Virginia? Was when my butt was up against the wall and I didn't know where the next meal was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was able to go inside of Laurie and go, well, wait a minute here. That's crazy. Look what you've got to offer people.
Yeah.
So we become extremely creative and resourceful in those hard times. Those are the gifts.
Yeah.
And my power statement around that is money does not generate great ideas. It's great ideas that generate money.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a great idea, write it down,
Yes. Yeah.
right? And it usually
Mm-hmm.
comes to you in the middle of the night.
Oh, does it ever?
Does it ever? Get up and write it down because that will
Yeah.
impact your finances.
Yeah.
Because it's the ideas that generate the finances, not the opposite. And a lot of people think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
So I'm always grateful for my financial situation, regardless of what it looks like on paper,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I'm a valuable resource. And before the day is out, somebody will want what I've got. So never worrying about it. Stop
Mm-hmm.
worrying about it.
Yeah.
If you've got a particular gift or talent or skill, get yourself out there because there are people who need to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
There are people who need to talk to you. Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. I think
Yes.
we have time for one more and then we'll
One
wrap.
more, and our last one, spiritual life. Spiritual
Oh,
life. Yes. So this one for me, again, I mean, I'm going to talk from my experience from my cancer situation, and just to stay, um, yeah, so positive. I had so many people praying for me. I had
oh,
so much
me too.
love coming my way, so much thoughts and prayers and well wishes. And I took it all in stride. I took it all in stride. I took it all inside and just felt the love and felt that connection, that spiritual life. Again, when we talk about spiritual life, it could be anything. I love nature. That's part of my spiritual life. So, for me, I would get out when I could because the weather was nice. Get outside and go for a walk and be in nature. Even now, um just seeing the sunrise in the morning, and the other night, or my mom messaged me, you got to go out and check out the northern lights. So there's so many ways to be spiritual, um that it's just, we don't necessarily just talk about God in our spiritual way. We talk about everything around us, our nature, our thought process, a higher power, anything like that, our creator. So that spiritual life can be anything that just you connect with, for that higher level, that higher self. Maybe our meditation, our journaling, anything like that, we can talk about that spiritual life. So for me, the gratitude comes in just having those people reach out. I got one beautiful friend, her name's Carolyn, and she messages me and she goes, "What can I pray for you today?" And that to me is just, I feel so blessed, so loved, and so grateful for that. And I'm like, yes, please, this is what you can pray about. And learn that giving and receiving is the same for everyone. They want to give, they want to be able to send love and send support and give those prayers and thoughts and well wishes. So yeah, yes, thank you, Simon. Music, absolutely perfect. But anything that we can do that kind of brings us to that higher power, our higher self, that spiritual connection, whatever it may be grateful that you have it there. Be grateful that you can sit down and meditate or journal or listen to your music and have those beautiful things. Like I say, for me, I live on an acreage. I just go for a walk. I'll go for a walk in the trees. And especially this time of year, the fall with the changing colors and the beauty that, you're surrounded by. Just be grateful for that. Be grateful for those things in your life that, can get you out of your funk and get outside and get outside of your head too, unless you're
Yeah.
meditating on a purpose, but get outside of your head and just think of the whole world, this whole beautiful world that we live in. So spiritual life, whatever it may be for you, just be grateful for it. Be grateful that every day you can wake up and there's some aspect that, will bring in that spiritual connection that you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you know that, our good friend Hastings, and he manages an orphanage in Malawi,
Mhm.
Africa.
Yeah.
They have 400 plus little kids that they
Yeah.
take care of. And do you know that those kids did a prayer for me?
Aww,
Imagine
I love it.
these little children who hardly have any, they're struggling just to be fed,
Just to be fed.
have room in their hearts to pray for
Mhm.
someone they don't even know.
Yeah.
And when he shared that with me, I was so grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
The power of
Absolutely.
prayer.
The
I
power.
believe in that. I
Mm-hmm.
believe in the power of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just so honored all of the time.
Yeah.
Now, just one more thing. I like to do my grateful list at the end of the day
Mm-hmm.
because things happen throughout the day that I wasn't counting on, that I didn't know were going to happen, an unexpected visitor, a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
So just, your grateful list can be ongoing. I'm just going to put my
Mm-hmm.
journal, my beautiful new journal.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that right on my kitchen counter. Always grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Virginia, our time is up already. Is this not like the fastest hour in
I
the
know.
whole week?
It's crazy.
And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah,
So,
it's grateful to be back.
yes, I am extremely grateful to be back. And to all of our viewers, we had quite a few people viewing live today.
Yes,
So,
thank
thank you
you.
so much for that.
Mhm.
Um, and so, I just really appreciate all that. Okay, so we're ready to go. We'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Dr. Ramin and I doing money matters, finances, but we're going to change the content just a little bit. Maybe spend 15, 20 minutes on the money side, and then we're going to bring in some other topics that we want to talk about.
Perfect.
So it'll be really interesting.
Excellent.
Okay.
Always is.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, Virginia, for your time today.
Of course.
And we'll be back tomorrow. You've been watching the Today Show. Dr. Laurie Davis, your host, with my beautiful co-host Virginia Clark on Motivational Monday. What a great way to start the week.
Yes.
And the only thing we ask you to do is share the show. It's streaming right now live on my Facebook page, Laurie Davis YouTube. Go in there and share it, because there may be something that we talked about today that could change somebody else's life
Absolutely.
and make it different. We have one more comment to look at before we go. Simon says, thank you, everyone. Richard says, some guys and I did it and prayed for each other in early 2020 before the shutdown in March. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Good.
And Simon, thank you, everyone. Okay, Simon, thank you for being
Thank
here
you.
today. All right. Okay. Bye for now.
Have a great day.